Hey there folks, welcome to this video, and here I'm going to be talking about the world of sim racing in the arena again of replacement racing for those that have been cancelled due to COVID-19. And well, it was another weekend of fascinating replacement races for such events as the Bahrain Grand Prix. We had, for example, the Races All-Star Esports event second time around. We also had Veloce's event. We also had Race Room, who made all of their content for the whole weekend free. I'm annoyed that I was away for the weekend, so I wasn't actually able to try out any of the paid content for Race Room. And we also had the actual F1 eSports replacement, which was, you know, hugely inspired by the success that Veloce had. And I'm going to talk a bit about the races and what I enjoyed about them, and I'm going to talk about sim racing itself for a moment. Now, each of them were enjoyable for having their own thing. So, for example, the one the Race Room did, well, it was the Nordschleifer, and it took full advantage of Race Room being Race Room, and it was done internally, all kind of organised by the developers, and that's amazing to see the developers going forward and doing that. Also took advantage of the kind of content that they have and the licenses that they have. And again, had a variety of different kind of backgrounds. I mean, I like the fact that you had Mike Chanel as well as Jimmy Broadbent, as well as all of these other races like I keep forgetting how to pronounce his name, Jan El Rache, the WTCR driver, who I was pronouncing wrong until I watched the race, and I've probably been pronouncing wrong here as well. But, Lache, yeah. And then when it came to the races one, I didn't really watch as much of it this time around, because I was working at the time. But, again, some fun at the Indianapolis track, and very much similar to their Nürburgring race from last weekend. Then you had Veloce's one, which had a lot of the similar drivers that we had last time around, a couple of extra people as well, which was quite fun to have in there, including a Williams team that was Nicholas Latifi and Nico Hulkenberg, because, you know, that's that. And the change to a two-race format made it really enjoyable for me, and it made it, I think, quite good for people to get introduced to sim racing, because you see the reverse grid happen, and it also meant there was good luck for people such as Super GT. And then you had the F1 eSports event. Now, firstly, being a Soviet football fan, I loved having Cyanide in there, even though it wasn't for long because of the retirement. But also, you had people like Sir Chris Hoy, you had Jimmy Broadbent being a teammate with Nico Hulkenberg, you had a Please No Punterino in the final corner between Lando and Jimmer, and that was fun to watch. Though I'm going to take a moment away to actually talk about sim racing, and it's because I've seen people on Twitter in the kind of comments of it going, oh, F1 isn't real sim racing. And they go, well, sim racing has to have this kind of physics thing. I get where these elitists come from. I'm not saying they're right. I'm saying they're wrong. But I do understand where they're coming from. You do tend to judge simulators on how simmy they are. I mean, if I want to play something that I'm playing for simulation, I tend to go into something like Assetto Corsa, R-Factor. If I look at the rally ones, I go into Dirt Rally, I go into RBR. But that said, I wouldn't say that people playing WRC are not playing sim rally stuff. I may have done a few years ago, but it has its own esports community. Whatever I think of it is something completely irrelevant. It is sim racing. Forza is sim racing. Gran Turismo Sport is sim racing. The F1 game is sim racing. And much like you see people, traditionally men, maybe young men, going in and saying, oh, this is not purist, this. Like we've seen with the Drive to Survive, where it's like, oh, you can't just go in because you like one driver. I started watching F1 because I wanted to see what Lewis Hamilton was doing in 2007. because it was like, hey, this is a young British driver on the up. I started watching F1 because of one driver, and F1's one of my favourite sports now. I started watching the WRC because my dad was a massive Peter Solberg fan. I'm now somebody who makes so much rallying content on here, who loves all eras of the WRC, but I started because I followed one driver. People getting into sim racing because they've watched an F1 eSports event, even if it's one that's almost more for banter because you don't have the whole grid competing. It's fun. It's enjoyable. Enjoy it. And that's the end of my rant section. But obviously, thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm going to be doing some more sim racing content on here now because, you know, there isn't much real world motorsport at the moment. So if you'd like to stick around and see any of that content, make sure to hit the subscribe button. If you did enjoy this video, especially if you don't agree with me, make sure to hit the like button. Let me know why you didn't agree with me in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye for now.